Hello, friends. Welcome to Coffee Chat Tuesday. It's been a while since I have been live with you. Let's make sure. There we go. Let's make sure we are connected. Good morning, friends. It's been a while since I've been live with you. I've been traveling and doing things, so I had pre-recorded a bunch to share with you at this same time. So it'll take us probably a couple episodes to get back on track. But first things first, welcome. Good morning. I've already had my coffee this morning, so I'm actually having some gem water instead. If this is my first time popping up on your news feed, thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're talking about nightshades. So often I hear that so and so told me I had to give up nightshades and give them up forever, right? And I really love potatoes, and that sucks. So I might as well not do anything. So today, we're going to kind of sort out what exactly are nightshades, why some people might should avoid them, what the truth is about whether or not you have to give up potatoes for the rest of your life. Here's a hint, you don't. First things first, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can be notified. If you're watching on Facebook, if you'll click the little follow button, give me a thumbs up, let me know you're here. Then it'll let you know next Tuesday when I am live again. So, what are nightshades? Have you ever heard of them? You've heard of them, I assure you. You just might not have heard of them referred to as nightshades. So, we are going to, most often, actually, people with nightshades or people with autoimmune disease and people with nightshades are told that they should avoid nightshades. Even people that don't have autoimmune disease, people who may have some other kind of chronic illness, people who are trying to start a weight loss journey often are told to stay away from potatoes, which are a nightshade, for example. But nightshades are just a group of fruits and vegetables. They're in a family of plants known as solanum, and I'm probably butchering that Latin name. But there's lots and lots of rumors around as to whether or not these garden growers, and they grow in the shade best, which is why they're called nightshades. So there's lots of rumors about whether or not they're good or bad for you. So we're going to get some basic insight on that today. We're going to find out who needs to avoid them, when they need to avoid them, all that good stuff. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Audrey Christie. I'm a functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner. I help women stop chasing symptoms, stop being autoimmune warriors, and become autoimmune conquerors, ultimately healing their bodies from autoimmune disease. So, in recent years, nightshades have gained full villain status, right? Especially in the autoimmune community. And it's not without reason. It's just not a great reason, okay? So, there are some very famous, very nutrition focused practitioners and physicians that have heavily marketed if you have symptoms, if you have inflammation, if you have autoimmune disease, you should stay away from nightshades completely. And I get it, right? They seem like they're on our side, these practitioners and physicians. They're touting the benefits of nutrition, changing your life, and healing your body, which is true. But the catch for them, is that you have to give up all these food categories. And that part isn't completely true, right? You don't have to give them all up, and you certainly don't have to give them up forever. And so, a really good rule of thumb is if you ever run across somebody selling a book, somebody selling a course or a program, and they say everybody should give up nightshades or lectins or whatever, chances are they're just trying to sell you something, okay? Because the data, the science doesn't support that all people should give up nightshades, for example. There are some studies and some data that support some other nutrients that people shouldn't eat, but usually it's in the highly processed category, okay? So, other popular fad diets have villainized nightshades, specifically potatoes and some tomatoes, as inflammatory or as not prehistoric enough. And I'm talking about paleo because potatoes, when you look at food history, have not been around that long. And some diet plans even say that they have too much sugar or that they're poisonous, right? All of those are fad diets. Most of the time, I hear people giving up nightshades and they get a little bit of temporary relief, and then those symptoms come back, even if they don't add nightshades again. And so, what ends up happening is they go back to the practitioner and they say, my joint pain or my psoriasis or my insert X autoimmune disease here is flaring up, and I haven't added these nightshades back in. What am I doing wrong? And I cannot tell you the number of people that tell me that their practitioner, their doctor, their nutritionist comes back and says, well, you must be eating them. You're just not being truthful on your food logs or whatnot, right? So we're going to sort that out today. Are nightshades autoimmune villains? So we're gonna change that. Real quick, I want to share a story with you because I love getting feedback from my clients and all that stuff, reviews, communicating on social media, you guys asking questions, and some of the best episodes, the best information that I put out there starts with a question that people just like you submit. But this was a client. She was essentially eating paleo, grain-free diet, heavy on veggies, heavy on meat, no grains, no dairy, no nightshades, right? Because those are the devil. Her symptoms kept leaving and coming back, leaving and coming back. And the reason why is because her root cause had not been addressed. She kept getting accused, and this is one of those examples, of not eating clean enough. But from all, intents and purposes, she was eating as clean as humanly possible for her, okay? So instead of removing yet another food group, right? So she came in, she wanted to do allergy testing and all this kind of stuff. And her goal was so that she knew what food to remove. So we did the allergy testing to see exactly what was coming up for her. Lo and behold, she was sensitive to vegetables, to several different vegetables, right? So guess what? That doesn't mean that you don't eat those vegetables anymore. That's a huge indicator that you have some leaky gut issues going on. So when you go get your food sensitivity, your food allergy testing, which can be useful, but it's not always, the gold standard is to do the elimination diet. And you have an allergy to one vegetable up to many, several vegetables, including nightshades. That is a huge indicator that it's not your allergy to nightshades. You're going to have to give them up a little while, but that's not what's causing the problem. The problem is that you have a leaky gut and your body can't use the food that you're putting in. So you'll keep going down that path of eliminating food group, eliminating food group, eliminating food group, and then you're like, what the heck am I supposed to eat, right? So fast forward to the end of, we're going to call her Miss T's. Fast forward to the end of Miss T's treatment plan, all of her symptoms of autoimmune gone, right? We worked on stress, gut health, and energetic well-being. Super simple, didn't have to give up any more food groups, and now she's eating all of those vegetables and potatoes, tomatoes, and peppers again, symptom-free, okay? So, which fruits and vegetables fall into the nightshade category? Tomatoes, right? You get plenty of vitamins A, vitamin C, lycopene, which is an antioxidant that reduces inflammation, your heart health issues, as well as cancer, your propensity to cancer. It helps to reduce that. Eggplants, also a nightshade. Personally, full confession, I don't love eggplants, and I think it's because I can't cook them well. So if any of you gals or guys out there are into cooking eggplant and you know how to like not make it soggy, let me know because I try. I don't mind the taste when somebody else cooks it for me, but I can't cook it. But eggplants, super full of fiber. Eggplants, so they help keep things moving in the bathroom department, which is critical to your health. They're also really good for heart health. Potatoes, so villainized, right, for their carbs and their sugar and their nightshade status. They are full of potassium. They're full of manganese, B6. You do want to eat the skin, of course, to get the most out of them. Just clean it thoroughly. We have a little scrub brush that we scrub our potatoes for. And then peppers. All peppers have an abundance of vitamin C. A bell pepper has more vitamin C than an orange, right? But you always hear about the orange. And that actually happened because in the 50s and 60s, they heavily marketed orange juice as like the way to get vitamin C. Most of those orange juices were fortified. So artificially, vitamin C was added. But I digress. Peppers are the very best form of vitamin C that you can get. They help you to better absorb iron, which is a property of that vitamin C. And then in the case of stuff like the hotter peppers, like jalapenos and chili peppers and all of those things, the capsaicin, so the part that makes it burn when you eat them, actually helps to reduce heartburn, right? So they have all sorts of healing properties. But are they a problem, especially for autoimmune disease? So that's what the rumor is, right? If you have autoimmune disease, you can't eat the peppers. You should be eating keto. You can't eat the potatoes, like all of these things. So the rumors around this largely have to do with inflammation, right? And everybody is different. It's that bio individuality that you've heard me talk about before. So there isn't a hard and fast rule per se for everyone to eat them or everyone not to eat them. So that's number one. So anybody telling you that nobody with autoimmune disease should eat nightshades, your BS meter should be going like off the chart. Second thing, nightshades contain something called alkaloids, and they can affect those with autoimmune conditions differently, right? The same goes for the compound that they're named after, the solanine, that can irritate arthritis pain, that can cause inflammation. It can, but the way it does it, the pathway that it can aggravate an autoimmune disease is through leaky gut, right? So, leaky gut sufferers, if you have a leaky gut, which if you have an autoimmune disease, you absolutely have leaky gut. So, leaky gut sufferers that eat nightshades have the reaction because their gut is damaged. Okay. So, if you're suffering from an autoimmune disease, again, there's no chance that you don't have leaky gut. So, most of the data that is available in food science around nightshades and the studies showing the relationship between nightshades and autoimmune disease show that removing nightshades helps reduce the symptoms, right? But it's temporary. So it temporarily removes them, not forever. A lot of those studies don't go on beyond 6 or 7 weeks. Sometimes one or two of them might go to 6 months. So what happens is you have to remove them for a brief period of time. Even the physicians that design the studies, they remove the nightshades for a brief period of time, work on healing the gut, and then you can reintroduce them. So you shouldn't have to give up potatoes for more than 3 to 6 weeks max if you do the gut healing right. So, direct answer to the question, can I eat nightshades? Most people can eat nightshades without consequence. Okay. Now, if you're eating your nightshades in the form of potato chips, then that's the wrong way. Okay. You want to make sure that they're prepared in a healthful way. You can make French fries with them, you can make hash browns with them, but use a healthful oil and not more of that omega-6 that causes so much inflammation. So, can I eat nightshades? Most people can, okay? Can I eat nightshades if I've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease? So, if you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, even if you haven't and you have a lot of symptoms, as we've talked about in the past, it can take 5+ years and 20 some odd doctor's appointments to get that label, which you don't need, by the way. Or if you have something like IBD, then try avoiding nightshades for just a few days and see if they're aggravating your human suit. See if they're aggravating your gut. While you're eliminating the white potatoes, for example, you can sub those for sweet potatoes, right? You can use pesto sauce instead of tomato sauce when making Italian dishes. You can eat citrus fruits instead of peppers to get your vitamin C. You can eat lots of leafy greens too. Once your gut is healed and your symptoms are subsided, then it's really time and really important to get those vitamins, minerals, and fibers that the nightshade category of food contains. Eliminating them forever, and this sounds weird, eliminating them forever is only a temporary solution. I'll say that again. Eliminating nightshades forever is only a temporary solution. The relief won't last, and you'll find yourself with your symptoms back, your symptoms worse, and wondering what in the world you're allowed to eat. So, when you're adding them back to your diet, make sure you do it in a smart way. You want to lower the alkaloid content in the nightshades by cooking them, by avoiding green tomatoes initially, and just basically making sure you're cooking them thoroughly, and then go back to continuing them as a part of your bountiful and diverse diet because diversity is key. So, if you're struggling with autoimmune disease, then I've created a free resource for you called Kickstart Your Autoimmune Revolution. It helps you to take the steps that you can start today to start healing that autoimmune disease. Just 5 simple steps to take today to help you stop being an autoimmune warrior and start being an autoimmune conqueror. So, you can download at audreychristie.com/autoimmune. I'll put the link in the description when we're done. Okay, so to wrap this up, what have we learned today? Actually, let me double check for questions real quick. Let's see. If there are questions, let's see. I can't see them, but that happened when I taught a live class, and there were lots of questions when I taught a live class in a private group for a company that has me come teach for them. So if you asked a question, it might show up at the end, and then I can come in and answer it. And let's wrap this up. So, nightshades are not the devil, friends. They are not villains. They're not the enemy. It's really, really important to get those rich vitamins, minerals, and fiber that the nightshades category contains. So, take steps to find out the root of your autoimmune disease and heal so you can start your autoimmune revolution, right? So, forget about being an autoimmune warrior. You don't want to fight. You don't want to eliminate every food category under the sun. Conquer your autoimmune disease, right? Eat a diverse diet. So thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning, for tuning in. If you have a second, it would mean the world to me if you would share this out, share it with a friend, leave a comment, ask a question. I would be so grateful. I hope you have the most magical rest of your Tuesday and try to leave your world however you found it just a little bit better than when you woke up this morning. Be well.